What is up, everyone, and welcome to BRL, the Speed Report, episode number 2. We're here in the booth. I hope you can hear me clearly, and I hope the exit is not playing, the video is not chiming away in the background. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the studio live. I am Sam Cook, your host, and we got a lot to talk about here as we prepare for this weekend here in the BRL. But to start off, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Please, by all means, hit that like button, the subscribe button. When it gets over to YouTube, that's right, the speed reports will now be going over to YouTube along with the races. So whatever you missed tonight, you can check out in the upcoming weeks and months ahead. When not on Twitch, it'll be there on YouTube. Stream Monster27. Also, check me out there on social media. Be sure to subscribe to Stream Monster as well as Twitch Monster on my other handles. Sam Cook and a bunch of numbers. Y'all know the deal. We have it up every week. It was an awesome, awesome week of racing there at Road Atlanta. And so you missed a show. We did not have 100% attendance. That's okay. We had enough. Joining me soon will be Dale Jr., who was a part of this race, as well as the 9 of Back in Black. They'll be joining me here in the studio very soon. But before that, let's go breaking news first before we transition. And the breaking news is that both the 46 as well as the 14 teams have points penalties headed into Watkins Glen. Why? For the 46, they are being penalized minus 20 points as well as a DNF, all points erased, and the DNF points total for Road Atlanta for the wreck involvement with the 55 and the 45. In that wreck, the 46 of Skitty Brave was DNF'd. He did not back out of that race in a timely manner and thus receives the DNF. That was picked up later on. When going back and looking and reviewing the footage, it was seen that he was DNF'd. Also, the 14, and this is a quick reminder to everyone, whenever you're warned about the language, that's the reason why. Because the language penalties do add up, and we don't want anyone to have to receive major points penalties because of that. So this is a reminder, the profanity. If you feel it coming, mute your mic, whatever you got to do to prevent those penalties from coming in. Alright, so that's just a reminder. Any questions from the 14 as well as the 46? If you guys have questions, message me, pull me in a party. I'll be glad to talk it over. Do not wait till the race this weekend, time to go green, to pull me in a party to discuss this, because that won't be the time to do it. And I'm just going to be straightforward with you. If you try to do that, we're going to go green flag. We'll have to discuss it at a later time. But if you want to appeal those, or if you have something else going on, or whatever footage you can provide, or whatever the case may be, let me know. We can get that taken care of. All right, that's our breaking news so far. Other than that, we're going to get ready. We're going to invite Dale here. Dale, if you're watching, the party is open. So you're welcome to come up here in the booth. And join me. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and catch you up with what happened. Here is some footage. What's up, Michael? What's up, Jody? Party's open, Jody, if you want to join Dale and I for the show. But like I said, in the meantime, we're gonna bring you footage from the race this past weekend. Check it out.
In the number 9. Although
What's up?
absolutely,
Can you hear
will
me?
he make a pass up the
Loud and clear,
black?
Dale.
No, he won't make a pass by the number 9. Oh my goodness, the other way, and it's back. Oh, and it's love it. Oh, 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 it's back black.
All right.
There you see
I
in the footage back at Black had a lead early in this race, led quite a few laps before losing the
Ooh,
lead.
we're rolling in 11th place.
And so let's take you to the eventual ending of this thing. There you see Habibi Michael battling out as the laps wind down here. The 48 of Habibi hot to start the season. And Michael, the rookie, which we'll talk about later, who is in the chat. What up, man? You get to see yourself on TV. He is been a big surprise. We'll talk about Michael in a little bit. But there you have it as the laps wind down. The 48 and the 22 would battle, but in the end,
Was
it
honestly on
would
pace to
be
lead and even catch them at some points.
Habibi who would. It would be
Yeah, and how
Habibi
you feel that we're
who will
going
win. I'm
into the
trying to
next
catch his
race of
burnout,
the
y'all.
BRL?
But
Yeah, the
I
next
thought
race
I
is
had it.
Watkins Glen, so I mean that's not my
And
best
there you
track.
hear Ghost Train being interviewed
But
there
anything can
with a
really
solid
happen.
third place finish.
A
We'll
lot can
get to
happen
him
in the
in a
bus
minute.
stop.
But it would be
The drivers
Habibi
could be next to
who
easily,
would win the
and
race
it's a
at
really fast
the
track.
end
So
and be
Because he
able to, there
is
he
on
is,
track for
be
his
able to
race.
capture
okay,
his second
Yes,
straight
because
win
he lives
of
in
the
New York
season,
and
back-to-back
it's
wins
not
for
far
him.
from Watkins Glen.
All
I
right,
do
so
apologize. I had
So
mic
yeah,
issues. I'm back now.
well,
but
looking forward to doing it next week.
so
yeah,
there we go. We got that Dale. Um, Tell me what you think about Habibi's start so far this season, man. Has it not been about the hottest?
For he's on a hot streak that I think is going to continue until we get to a stronger road course than what we were on. I know I had challenges with Road Atlanta just for the simple fact I've never been on it before.
Yeah. So, and we're seeing a lot of what we saw out of Habibi last season. He had the most wins ever in the season. Won over 50% of the races and was by far the clear favorite to win a championship last season. Let me ask you something, Dale. What he's been able to do. Are you at all impressed? Do you think he's a favorite to win the championship, or do you want to see more? Considering that he had this same kind of run last season and couldn't get it done at the end.
Well, you got to remember, I'm also coming out of retirement, so I've never seen him race.
Oh my goodness! But you haven't been keeping track of it while you've been gone, Dale. You're not helping me up here, man. What are you doing up here?
I've watched a couple races and everything, and he's on my radar to where um to watch out for as far as a learning experience to what he's doing.
Okay.
Just for the simple fact is I like his road course style. He's got speed in his car and he leans on his teammate.
Right. Right. So let's talk about you, Dale. Um, how do you think your um how you think your season's going so far? Because this moves us into our next little section here. You know what? Before I ask you that, let me just say this: as far as Habibi is concerned, I personally want to see more. Second straight season, Habibi's had a lot of success, and at the end of the season, he's either not been in the Final Four or been in the Final Four but fell short of a championship. So I want to see if Habibi can keep this streak going. And one thing I said last season, coming up into the championship Final Four, was, you know, I I was at first I was blown away by what he was able to do, and I was like, this dude, he's gonna win a title. But I kept reminding people of this one fact, and that one fact is that there's no pressure whenever you win early in the rounds, race one, race two, which is what you're supposed to do. But whenever you do that, you're taking pressure off, right? So there's no pressure. You win, you automatically advance. But when you get to the Final Four, all of that pressure is heaped on you to try to win, right? Because now you can't just win and win the championship. You got to be consistent for four straight races. So what
Correct.
Habibi likes to do is win early and take that pressure off. And now he can race free. He can race that aggressive style that we're used to him racing and be successful. But what we've seen last season is that does not equal a championship. So I want to see what he's able to do in the final round. We've got some very curious races in the final round. We do have some simple races, but we've also got a double dose of Daytona. He got a season out started off good at Daytona, but we're gonna see if he can keep that up.
Well, the thing that I saw was he won Daytona, but yet he didn't back off, even though he had that win. You know, he came right out of the gate and everything to win Road Atlanta. Now we go to Watkins Glen, and we got that carousel with the S's. So, is it going to help his mentality to where he goes forward? Or is he going to take a step back and be like, hey, I've got 2 wins. Where do I go from here?
Yeah, very good questions. And I mean, to your point, he's gotten off, like you said, he went and won Daytona. I mean, that took all the pressure off, I think, for him to go out there and win Road Atlanta. So I don't think there'll be a situation where we have to worry about Habibi at all. I think coming into this thing, I think Habibi's going to be aggressive. He's had some success at Watkins Glen, which we'll get to in a little bit. So I think he's going to continue to put the pressure on and continue to move forward. Now, let's talk about the rest of this top 5 in points, man, because big surprises after Road Atlanta. We got Michael, the rookie, sitting in second. We've got Frosty sitting in third. We've got you, Dale, sitting in that 4th place. And then we've got Josh, the best game, sitting in 5th. Now, Habibi, we're not surprised, but everybody else in that, not surprised at Habibi, not one bit, but
I'm
everybody else in that, man.
I'm actually surprised that I'm in the top 4. I mean, I've actually finished 2 races. You remember back to my KMR days and stuff, I raced Daytona, I'm done. You know, I
Right.
mean,
And I mean, literally load into Daytona and get into turn 1, and you're done. Yeah, I know all
yeah.
about that.
I mean, my teammate who just became my teammate after, Daytona, I got the White Hammer as a teammate. You've had success with White Hammer in the KMR days as having him as your teammate.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it rubs off a little bit, So,
Well, I don't know, man. BRL has not been kind to him at all, as you saw
I know.
from his
Yeah.
early DNF and last
Yeah,
season's
I saw
struggles.
that. Yeah. So,
Yeah, but how
but
does it feel? I mean, what do you think is different from? First of all, because this is your first run in BRL, you're used to KMR. So, what are some differences that you've noticed this season to start off compared to the old KMR?
Well, now with the I can't even say the name and everything. Um, I like the style. I've made it through two races. Um, I'm actually more calm as a driver now. Like a lot of uncertainty has been lifted off my shoulders. Um, I think I have the confidence in my car. Once I actually go to the track and do my practice, a lot of familiarity with the tracks. Now that we're on Forza 7, a lot more better graphics and stuff than what we had when we were in KMR.
Yes, no
And we
more
and we
NASCAR
don't have
heat
the lag very
stinks.
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have the lag very much. So, I'm I'm looking for a lot better results as long as I'm able to make the races on a consistent basis.
Cool. Yeah, let me ask you this question, Dale. I was curious to ask you, and I don't know whether I asked you post race Daytona or not, but that I have to know. That final restart, you're on the front row for the 500. Take us through how you were feeling in those moments. I have to know.
That last lap at Daytona, I was very anxious. I thought I had the position. I was on the bottom and I was not going to lift. I thought coming into off of turn 2 to the backstretch, I was like, I've got this. I had my position, and then all of a sudden, here comes turn 3. And I just choked. I for some reason or another, I was like, okay, that last 60 feet is what's going to kill me, and it did. I couldn't believe it. To be back in that position to where I could have won the race, I was like, wow.
That Dale, that would have been such a special moment. For me and for people who have ran with you, which really I guess is just me because Ghost wasn't there, and I don't think Habibi goes back far enough to have
No,
ran with you.
BB wasn't there.
No, Back in Black wasn't even there.
No, he wasn't.
I think
This is
Beloved
back
is
when
the
we
only
had
other one.
we had fractured
Yeah,
beloved.
yeah,
You
yeah. Hammer.
you you
I
got to
think
remember, my last win was not back until Las Vegas of KMR.
right, and we're talking in 14 KMR. So yeah,
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 and
yeah,
that
yeah.
was on
So
a fuel mileage race of me staying out.
right. So it just, but for me, it would have been such a special moment to see you cross the finish line, and you know, at first race back to racing and to win, that would have been awesome. And of course, it would have put you on the front row for the rest of the season on race
Mm-hmm.
number ones. Would have put you up front automatically on the first week of each round, and would have advanced you to the
I
next round
I
on a
will say
win.
this: I am going to get a win this year.
That's what
I
I'm
just
talking
don't.
about, Dale.
I just don't know where it's going to be because I'm looking at the races and stuff. I am real good at Watkins Glen.
Uh huh.
That is one of my favorite tracks. I love Indy coming up, you know. And the way I finished Daytona, I finished on the lead lap. I was not a lap down,
Right.
you know. So I've got good tracks coming that I've been there before.
Yeah, and I
I just got
think
to have confidence in my car.
And exactly. And I think with that mentality, especially, and I think this was a great season for you to come back compared to last season. Last season's races were brutal from Daytona to championship race at Prague. It was
Mm-hmm.
just a brutal schedule. And the DNF bug was just going out left and right. It was a tough, tough schedule. This schedule is a lot more lenient with a lot more familiar racetracks, ovals to start each round. I think this was a perfect time for you to come back, Dale, and I look forward to seeing if you can grace victory lane. Now, enough about you, Dale. Good gracious, man. Let's let's talk about the rest of these guys here. We have to talk about Michael, our rookie. Um, who does Michael remind you of when we talk about rookies having great starts to seasons and the style of racing that he has that you can relate to in KMR?
All guns. If you remember All Guns from KMR, he kind of reminds me of him.
Really? Explain that to me.
His driving style, and I mean, he has confidence in his car, but the mentality and everything gets better as he races. If you remember how All Guns ran.
Yeah, I do remember how All Guns ran. I tell you somebody that he reminds me of, Dale. He reminds me of he reminds me of this version or the old version of the White Hammer when Hammer first came into the league.
Okay,
Um,
I could have gone with that. Yeah, that'd be good.
he does. He reminds me a lot of Hammer, and the reason why is because of how he's been running, the speed that he's carrying in as a rookie, just right off the gate. And I, I'm curious to see how he runs the rest of the season. He has an aggressive style of racing, almost like Habibi. Or Hammer is the same way when back in KMR. He was the same. He has an aggressive style of racing, but he's also fast. And when you're able to keep up with Habibi and Ghost in this league, you're saying a lot about your speed, and that's walking in the door in the gate. Now, he's gonna have some trouble beating Habibi on a consistent basis. But if he ever gets to that point, watch out because that is a feat to have to do, and especially with the speed that Habibi's been able to carry for the past 2 seasons. When you consistently are able to outrun Ghost, when Ghost comes back regular and gets his rhythm back, we know that he didn't have to run a qualifying race or anything like that last season. He's completely locked in because he is our champion. He unfortunately missed Daytona, so this was his first race this past weekend at Road Atlanta. When he gets that run back, look out. If Michael can keep up with Ghost and Habibi, that's going to be consistently, that's going to be an eye opener. And then we got to start talking about his presence and possibly his presence in the Final Four. So, well, let's keep an eye on Michael in that 22. He's got a good teammate who's hovering around in the top 10 as well. Let's see if they both can keep that consistency as a team. We'll get into that later.
Did Bob start on the outside of the front row that Road Atlanta or Atlanta race?
Yeah, he started on my
He
right side.
he actually started second ahead of Habibi, and I didn't see the beginning of it because I was all the way in the back. Did you and Michael go into that chicane in the grass?
No, it was me and Bob, not Michael.
That
Yeah,
okay?
Michael was further back in the pack because it was a reverse finishing order, which
Gotcha,
meant that Michael started back there with Habibi.
gotcha.
Um, but
It was me
yeah,
that
me
sent
and
him both
Bob,
into the grass because
yeah,
I
me
went
and
on the
Bob
outside
were in the
of.
grass. What's up? Didn't bother to say anything. What's up, Jody? We got Jody up here in the studio as well. What's up, Jody, man? I'd love to hear your thoughts about that previous question about Michael. Who does Michael remind you of in the old KMR?
The
Or
old
as a
Kmart,
rookie, any other rookie?
he reminds me like my old Kmart days. Whenever I raced in Kmart, whenever I had to go against, like I had to go against Hammer U, and Speedy. But I had confidence in my car and all that. But I think that one right there, Mr. My teammate, can go out there and speed, little Habibi. He's got the speed that he can stay with him
Hmm. All right,
at
Michael.
the
Have a good
Glen.
night, man.
At the Glen, if he can get in front of Habibi, Habibi's going to have a hard time because I know where Habibi hates on that track. Me and him was practicing right after that race, and I know where he hates it so much. If I can stay behind Habibi, he's going to have a little problem with both of us.
Hey,
Yeah.
Sam, if you could, bring up the schedule on your next chart if you can while you're bouncing back and forth from it.
Yeah, for sure. I'll slide up here in a little bit before we move on to the next segment. Um, Jody, I got a question
Yeah,
for you, man.
yeah.
How surprised are you to see Frosty and Josh in the top five?
That's Josh, definitely. Frosty, I raced with him on Forza 7. I raced with him in his Forza 7 league. He was one of the contenders for his Forza 7 league. I was one of the contenders for it. I won like 4 or 5 races in his league, and he's pretty quick. But it all accounts about the consistency. See, I wrecked out of Daytona. But look where I stand at now, cause I come back, shut up, and drove my car. I have confidence in my car, and look where I'm standing.
Yeah, for sure.
I,
Frosty.
I got a question for Jody.
What? What?
Were you too confident at Daytona, or were you underconfident of what was going on between you and your teammate when you had the lead?
Me and my teammate were confident. Me and him just had to work the draft with the new with the new team.
I mean, you had that big tandem lead and everything, and then all of a sudden you guys were
We
like,
weren't actually tending them. We were
well,
actually just
I know you guys were apart. I saw the replay and stuff, but yet all of a sudden you guys were like non-existent when you wrecked out.
well. If I didn't wreck out, it would either be me or him wrecking. Me and him be bouncing off of BB for the win.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know
I,
because that final those restarts, maybe it wouldn't have been the nine, you and you, or rather the nine. It wouldn't have been you and Michael bringing out the caution, but there still would have been a caution at some point during that race that would have brought the
Yeah.
field back together. And I don't know like how it would play out because even though you guys were able to get back to each other, would you have enough time to break away? Would be the big question, and that was one of the reasons why Habibi was so successful because after he split you guys up, he wouldn't let y'all get away. And that's
See
the
at
thing. If he could have
Daytona.
got a couple more people up there, who knows how that would have worked out.
See at Daytona. Me and Michael already had something planned. If it was gonna come down to the final restart, he was gonna take the bottom. I was all night. He was gonna take the top. We were gonna do the old Penske thing, and whenever I took off, I was gonna hurry and grab second gear and just shoot down in front of him and barrel it back up to his bumper lane, give me a little push to get my speed back going.
Well, thank you a lot. I'm gonna log that in the notebook. But back to
way to
Frosty
keep
though.
that notebook out in the open there, Sam. Nice job.
I'm just taking notes, bro. I'm just saying. But
Sam,
anyway,
you
we got
can't
one more
touch us
visit
at
to
Daytona.
Daytona. We need to.
But
but
I
for
got
real.
I
But
got some tracks circled on mine this year too, so I'm gonna get back and work to them.
let's go back to Frosty here for a minute. You said Frosty was fast and everything, but the only reason why Frosty is a surprise to me is the fact that a couple seasons ago Frosty was not a competitor. Pretty non-existent in the booth, and then last season in and out of the booth, eliminated from points contention. Now starting third. How much of a threat is he for the championship? Do you think, Jody?
Uh, I give it about a 50-50. If Ghost Train gets back on his thing, Frosty's gonna have probably get that third place ticket from me. But I give it 50-50. If he shows up and runs consistent like he's been doing, he will be up there.
Hey,
There, there, there was one race that I saw from season 2. Frosty was like all over the place. I don't remember what the track was, but he was having so many issues. And from
Suzuka,
what,
no.
yeah,
Yeah, Suzuka.
I
like
don't blame
he
him.
started.
Everybody was all over the place in that one.
Well, he was starting at the front, and like I don't know, within the first 5 or 10 laps, he was in the back having issues, not even being able to drive. And what I saw at Road Atlanta, he actually had more control of his car. Like he had more confidence now.
Yeah, and Frosty probably had a lot of confidence because he had ran Road Atlanta for 2, 3, 4 weekends in a row,
Mm-hmm.
and so we saw
He
him.
practiced with me there.
Yeah, we saw him run those few races like I saw recording of him. So he was familiar with the track. He was familiar with running around people there. He was familiar with the layout. I think that attributed a lot to his success there. And it's a great way to start the season. I mean, to get the finishes that he's been getting, it's been great. And then let's shift real quick to Josh because we know Josh last season struggled big time. But one thing Josh has not done this season that many surprisingly have is he hadn't torn up the car. He has not DNF'd.
Yeah,
Jody, how big is that for Josh?
that's a
And how
big
far
deal.
can he go this season?
He can go pretty far if he keeps on like what he's doing. If he don't tear up the car, nothing. He's going and finish consistent races. He's going to be a contention for at least a top 8. Maybe go to the round of 8 or even could even go to the round of 4. It could beat me. It could beat all of us out.
I'm thinking Josh is in the same boat with me because I have yet to tear a car up yet too. So, I mean, not to put me back in the spotlight and stuff, but
No, Dale, you know what you're doing, putting you back in the spotlight and stuff. But it's okay. I'm gonna let it go.
I mean, he kind of is in the same boat with me. I mean, we haven't torn a car up. I didn't really see him. Did he race last year in season 2?
Yeah, but it was toward the end, and
So he was more of a hot seat type thing than getting used to the tracks, or what?
well, he was a hot seat to start off, but he was a hot seat to start off, but then he got himself into the running order. I apologize.
Gotcha.
There. I pressed the wrong button.
I got a couple tracks on my schedule this year. What I want.
Alright, so you wanted to see, Dale, the tracks. So I got that loaded up for us. There you go.
I'll tell you right now, Jody, you're not winning Homestead.
I'm telling you right now, if you think you can stop me from winning Homestead after I won that qualifying race, you come on up and try me. I'll drive around you like circles.
Road America's gonna. Road America's gonna be a doozy.
Road America, I love. I run 2 minutes and 3 seconds around there.
All right, so there you have it on your screen. And
Who is this? Who is this thumbs up Zack Attack 12 something? That's in my way. I can't see.
okay, well, you don't need to see what the first couple rounds because that's where we're gonna be. Watkins Glen, Sonoma to finish up. Let's do something real quick. Let's take a quick gander at some Watkins Glen highlights from season 1.
I think this was the season I raced in, wasn't it?
out of
again,
45, Woozy. It's almost done.
there again, we had All Guns, as well as Woozy in the broadcast booth for us for this race. This race will be
Yeah, I think the
identical in
48
layout.
are going to win this
45
race.
laps.
And the first one
But
to
10
get
lap
into the
overtime.
playoffs.
And
Yep.
this was an elimination race.
It's the elimination race, Woozy, but you don't know that. Here's the thing, the 48 could screw up what he just did right there.
And where were you in this, Sam?
You screwed
Let's
up there,
see.
Woozy.
I was 6th. I didn't run
Okay.
great. Watkins Glen is never.
The 84 is on his bumper, Woozy.
You notice the BB still has the same
Yep.
paint scheme 3 years later.
Right.
He's got a different one for Homestead this week. I mean, for it. He's got a different one for
Whatever takes him to victory lane. I don't
But
think.
if this goes how it goes, 44 out of 45.
But in this race,
Yeah.
one thing we noticed
Oh, no!
is you see Ghost Train and him battle, and this is what I was talking about with Michael. If he can keep up, that season 1 it was Paintbrush,
Speedy almost
and
screwed
of
himself
course we
there,
know
but he did.
Paintbrush has retired.
Thank
but
the Lord.
you know, can
Yeah,
it
to
be
the
Michael?
IR.
Can it be Josh?
see that,
Can
Woozy?
it be you, Dale, to be able to keep up with these guys?
Or
It's
could it
been
be
really
me?
impressive so far.
I think Woozy's trying to
The
focus on
9
the
will
race
probably
as
do
I
that.
am.
But
Oh,
anyway,
sorry.
no.
You're good, bud.
You're going to be the
They are
first one
so
on my
close,
boat to
Woozy. They're
say
very
next.
close.
But
Ghost is actually running
Speedy's
him
trying to go
into
for
these
bragging
turns.
rights. He's
I
trying
mean,
to get
he's
2 in
got
a row,
the
and Ghost
advantage.
Train is
Just
trying to get
wrong
fourth
place at
and
the wrong
getting
time
beat
of the
by
track.
Speedbee.
And I'm really watching
There
these
is-
replays and
these guys
stuff
have
because I'm
so
trying
much
to
lose,
see
Woozy. They got
where an
they
advantage
have to have
and
something in
disadvantage is.
Ghost Train's got to have something in that tank. Make sure he gets. Oh, he's gonna make a move.
Right here. I think this
Couldn't make it yet.
Oh,
And see,
Oh,
Ghost
44
backed
out of
off and
45,
everything
Woozy.
coming out of that turn right there too. He backed
It
off.
is
He could have
so
had
close. Oh no, Ghost Train just put it in too hard. I think the 48 just won. Yep, the 48.
Oh my God.
Is that
just
all
won
guns
this
in the
race.
booth?
it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
Ghost Train was
That's
trying
what I
to. He just put it in too hard, and that's what Ghost Train was just.
It's too late.
Pressure took over him
yeah,
again.
this
Just,
was the race that I just laid back with.
it did it to him once again.
This time.
Poor
Yeah,
Ghost
you
I
were
Train.
gotta
running
go.
9th.
Ghost Train has been
Yeah,
so
I was
close,
backed
just
off.
so many
You're about
times.
a lap down.
I was already at lap
Oh,
down.
actually,
I was two
you never.
down.
Wait a second.
And got one back.
You never know, Woozy. Something could happen to the 48. Just
Okay.
I ended
Um,
up
Just
4
like that,
laps
even if it
down
had
at
spun out
Atlanta,
there, it
or
could've-
Road
yeah, but
Atlanta
it's not gonna be
last
enough.
week, so I don't want to talk about that either.
And 3 of them.
And the
laps
84 is
was
not going to
like
get there.
me.
The 48. This could be the 48's win.
Check out these last 2 laps of this race.
White
So
flag.
Watkins Glen is what, 46 laps? Is that where we're running, or what is it?
45.
45.
45.
Yeah, it's
With the 10
45,
lap
but
overtime.
45 is a white flag because we burned lap 1 to grid up.
Right. Right.
Oh, wait. I guess I wasn't the end of the race, everyone.
It's a
We were just
45
waiting
lap-
for them to slow down.
With a 10 lap overtime.
Bro,
Because they're still going.
still going?
Yeah. This wasn't the last lap. This is the last
I
lap.
forget how many laps
Oh.
Homestead is because we ran.
Ghost Train still has a shot.
Homestead's going to be a long night.
Oh, no.
Homestead's for
No, I think Ghost
They're
Train
gonna be
was
like
good a
100
chance
and
there
some
because
laps,
he
you
went
know.
way too in the
Cookie.
grass. Yeah,
Could be in the rain.
It.
You going to do Homestead in the rain? How dare you? That's not fair. You would do that and everything
Mr.
to
Bragging,
ruin the
he's
cha-
got the bragging rights, ladies and
that's
gentlemen. He's walked
start of the
himself
round or end of
again.
the round?
Ladies
of
and
the
gentlemen,
round.
Speedbee.
Start of the round,
For-
yeah.
2 times in a row.
Don't be mean to me.
And by the way,
A
with
winner.
Cookie,
This time the Watkins Glen.
Cookie, that day
So
of this
there you
race,
have it. Huh?
that race is supposed to be raining down there where you live.
Which race?
This race, and you can't put rain on the track.
Oh, I ain't worried about that. If I can, I do it. If I can't, it is what it is. But real quick, there on your screen is kind of what it's been like and what it was like in season one. Habibi is our current defending champion of Watkins Glen. It was an elimination race. In this race, he was able to move on to round number. Which one was this? Round number 2, as that was the elimination race for round 3. So, guys, um, to seeing that highlights, let's talk about real quick what you thought of that race. Now that
There's
Back in
one.
Black has saw some of those highlights, what'd you think of that
Yeah.
race? What stood out to you, and what do you expect for the upcoming Glen race?
Upcoming Glen race, if Baby does not get the bus stop down like he did in that race, he's gonna have some trouble. You cannot cut to the second part of that bus stop because it's messing up your carousel speed.
That's true. That's true.
And if you
I
mess up your messes, it's also gonna mess up your straight line speed going into that bus stop.
Right. One thing that stood out to me as we saw in that restream was that Ghost was able to keep up with Habibi there in a lot of spaces. I'm expecting Ghost to have an opportunity to do the same thing, and if he can, might be able to steal a win from him
If I
in here as well. So,
if it ends up turning out that's 24 of us, I won't move him.
well, we heard it here first. Pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. The thing about a bump and run is you got to be able to run, and
Yeah, yeah.
so be ready for that one back.
Without tearing up your car. I mean,
Right, right, right. So
the thing of it is if I know Ghost Train, like I know Ghost Train, he's already going to learn and everything from his mistake of not being able to win that first season. So I'm assuming he's already taken the notes and everything, and he's been practicing already. We just haven't seen it.
He's
probably,
actually practicing with us with ACE.
yeah. And so we look forward to next week talking about teams, and the bubble will really take shape next week, and we'll get a chance to see who's going to be on the bubble, who needs to do that. So I can't wait to talk about that for next week. So let's talk briefly a running order. Remember that this week is the third race of the round, which means it's the reverse points order. So here is the grid right now. On pole, the 55 of Welp Dang, who did not have a good road Atlanta or a good start to the season. The 46 of Skitty Brave is in the same boat. And interestingly enough, they are teammates as well. So not a good start for 6545. We'll see if they can turn it around. The 19 of Froggy Man. We know Froggy Man got an opportunity to run at Daytona, wrecked out early. I want to say wrecked out early or was not able to run and lagged out. I think he wrecked out. Um, in any case, he scored some points. Did not run last week. He's going to start third. Then the 83 of the White Hammer. He's in the top 16, in part thanks to team points that were given out. But he's going to be sitting fourth place on the grid. The 45 of Woozy Emu will be fifth. Sixth place is going to go to the 2 of Goosey, who was unable to run Daytona, had some issues with connection.
With the
But
tune.
with the right connection with the tune, but received a last place finish, and he is going to start sixth. Seventh place is going to go to the 84 of Ghost. Eighth place is going to go to the 14 of uh, Bob. Then the 1 of Beloved is going to be seventh. Eighth place is going to go to the 9 of Back in Black. Then the 8 of Sam Cook will be 10th. Then the 18 of Josh. The 88 of Dale. The 23 of Frosty. The 22 of Michael. And last place on the grid will be the 48 of Little Habibi. Now,
And
that'll
me and
probably
Michael
change
are
with
running.
hot seats coming in to fill positions that are open. So expect some changes to that grid, but right now, that's the way the grid looks. All right, what do y'all think of that grid order there?
I like it. Me and Michael are running identical cars, so y'all cannot tell us apart no more.
I'm pretty sure the number is going to tell you guys apart, because if you run in the same number, y'all going to get a penalty.
I put
I
a
got
22.
I got a terrible starting spot. I need to work on
Hey,
that.
hey,
Well, no, because it just means you good in points.
Dale.
I mean, well, you got to remember, I finished 4 laps down at Road Atlanta, so that didn't help. But point-wise and everything, it actually starts pretty good. I mean,
Dale, you can't say it because turn one we got the big pile up,
oh, I know.
and
You got to
everyone else in the
remember, I've
back could
raced this
miss it
track
by
many a
locking their
time,
brakes
so
up.
I got to be really cautious and everything going into that turn one.
And
So,
one thing that's gonna hurt everybody, and I think hurts people don't realize it, and I've mentioned it before. One of the reasons that I have a no opt back rule is because number one, when somebody tries to opt to the rear, when a bunch of people try to go to the rear on the grid up lap, it messes up the grid. No one knows where to start,
oh
and it
yeah.
just takes too much time to get that together. And then when people opt to the rear on the green flag, while that is legal, the problem is you got people in the rear that are going to the front. They want to go to the front. They're pushing. And then you got people up front that are pushing maybe third or half speed trying to get to the back. And it just creates a mess, a hornet's nest going into turn one. And in some tracks with heavy braking zones like Watkins Glen, it just creates the potential for the big one
But
and tearing
the
up race cars.
the biggest part on that Glenn's part that we have to watch. If they do double foul to the S's and going double foul into that bus stop, you will have to watch that first wall because that first wall is unforgiving. If you hit it just right, your whole
Well,
car is going to hit the
you're
air.
gonna have to
Yeah, and I know
remember about.
Beloved knows
We
all
go to
about that.
Sonoma. We go to Sonoma right after Watkins Glen, so you've got that high brake zone and everything before the S's in the carousel there, going up the hill.
That's true too. All right. So before we get out of here, who needs this Glen win the most?
I do.
ECE, the 9 car.
All right, we'll start with Dale. We'll talk about Dale first, but Dale's not allowed to talk about himself right now. So Jody, Dale says he needs it most. Is he right, or is he just wanting to say something to be heard?
He needs to get his composure back on road courses before he even thinks about going after a road course win. Leave it to the
Shut
big
up,
boys.
Jody. Shut up. You ruined the moment way too many times, Jody. Shut up.
I had to
Okay,
put it up.
Jody, you said ECE needs to win the most. So you can't talk about you. So Dale, what do you think about the 9 needing a win, needing the Glen the most? Do you agree with that?
A win would help him to where he could take it easy and make it to the next round. I don't know. Someone needs to take a little Habibi off of his high horse there and see if he can bounce back after a race or two. Honestly, Sam, you need to step up.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, you're back there in 6th in points, or 7th, I think. Is it 6th or 7th?
6.
Yeah. I mean, you're just on that bubble and everything of a top 5. So if anybody needs, point wise and stuff, I would say you, beloved. I'm not worried about Jody. I mean,
You
he
should
can get
be.
points. Well,
I'd be
in a
worried.
way, yeah, yeah, yes and no. Sometimes he gets overconfident and likes to run his mouth and gets him in trouble every now and then.
Yeah, the wall has been his worst enemy. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was, in my opinion, and it's nothing against you, Jody. I think you were way overconfident when running Daytona, and all of a sudden you wrecked out. I mean, when I heard that you had wrecked out, I was like, I actually have a reason of being able to finish in the top 5 now that you're not in the race. So,
Uh, I got
If Boozy would have missed me, I wouldn't have wrecked out.
two exactly though. Yeah, that was thing serious. But I got two people that need it the most, and I had to split this because one is for points confidence. The other one is because they really need it. So I'm gonna go with the really really need it first. Um, the 55 of Welp Dang needs
mm-hmm.
this race. He needs to win this race because for two reasons. Number one, because he had a horrible start to the season. Number one, I don't know why, if you're not going to run the entire season, if you're not going to try to win the championship, I don't know why. Let me rephrase that question. If you are going to try and win the championship or win and get through and battle, why would you choose to be the pace car in the most important race of the season at the 500? I didn't get that because basically he forfeited an opportunity if he decides later on, okay, yeah, I'm gonna run. Suppose we had 16 people. Now he doesn't know whether he's getting in or not. He loses out on points, and then he goes to Road Atlanta, and we don't get halfway through the race before he's gone. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was tough. His teammate Skitty, generally in the back half of the season, he generally turns it on and has been so close to Final Four berths in the past two seasons. So I'm not really worried about Skitty. I think this season he'll get a win. But for the 55, I think for confidence as well as an opportunity to keep fighting, he needs to pull out an upset here at the Glen and win this race. This is his style of race right here, and I think he can do it, but he's gonna have to do it or at least have a second place. So that's my first person that needs it. He needs it bad. But the second person that needs this race is the 45 Woozy Emu. He needs to finish this race. Do y'all realize he is DNF'd 16 races in a row? His last finish, where he finished a race, was Daytona, the
Back in
day
season
race
one.
of Daytona in season one or season two.
Oh,
Season two,
wow.
race number one, he finished that race, and then subsequently DNF literally every race after that, and that's a problem. He
That
needs
sounds like me
to
at Kmart.
finish. No, that was just your Daytona record. You could
Oh,
finish the other
okay.
ones.
Ah,
Yeah,
gotcha.
but he literally has DNF'd every race, and that's a problem. Um, I think that he needs a finish. He needs to break this streak. And I mean, if you got to go 40 laps down to get that done, you do what you got to do because you need points. You need them bad. Like it's gotten really, really bad. I think Woozy Emu needs Watkins Glen.
I think he's waiting to break the streak and everything at an oval or a quad oval and stuff like Indy. Um, unless he didn't finish those races and everything back in last season.
He didn't run
Oh,
in season one. So he was a broadcaster in season one. So
what did he?
season
What did
two,
he?
he
What did he
won.
finish at Indy at season two?
We didn't run Indy in season two.
Oh,
Yeah, and Indy
wow.
is not an easy track. Actually a very tricky track, and I think that he needs to finish either this race or Sonoma. Because here's the danger: if he's legit gonna fight, like he needs to be able to help his teammate and Frosty out as well, because Frosty is his teammate in the team points battle, which we'll talk about next week. Um, they're gonna struggle if Woozy cannot pull out finishes, because Woozy, if he DNFs, he's not bringing any team points to the team. So it's only what Frosty's able to bring to the team. The disadvantage is single car teams are getting the team points bonus because they're a single car team. So they'll earn whatever they made plus plus the 15-point bonus. But for team drivers who have teammates, if a teammate DNFs or both teammates DNF, that's 0 points. That's literally
Right.
no points. So that's another reason why I feel that Woozy's got to finish these races, because you got some drivers here in the running that have not shown up, that may not show up, and this is a good opportunity for him to advance at least past the round of into the round of 12. He's got to have Watkins Glen, and then he's got to have Sonoma. But one race at a time, he's got to have this Glen. He's got to at least finish. Just finish the race.
Is Indy's not a road course, is it? It's the Brickyard race
It's
track,
the Brickyard, and then after that is the road course.
right? Gotcha.
Back to back Indies.
So back to Indies.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's another thing about that. It's been 2 seasons, and there's been 3 seasons. Last season at KMR, or the first season that Fracture was broadcasting, that was the inside the booth. Whenever I got the hot seat at the Roval, was my last win in KMR. So it's for.
Thank God we don't race the oval.
I missed that track. I wish it was on Forza.
And Cookie,
it would
you
replace
remember that?
the
He said, "Let me talk to the cherry picker." When I put a 21-second lead on second place.
Yeah, that's why
Don't
we
we
don't count that win.
Don't we have a Daytona road course on Forza?
Yeah,
Yes, we do.
unfortunately, it's in the championship round.
It's goes
Oh,
Daytona
okay,
and
gotcha.
Daytona.
I say Daytona. That's the Grand Prix 24-hour course, isn't it?
Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
one with the bus stop on the backstretch.
Mm-hmm. That'll be fun.
No, it won't. It may be fun for you, Dale, but I stink at that road course. I hate it.
Cookie's like, I definitely hate the Daytona road course.
Dale.
But at least they don't have that stupid fake bus stop to head into turn 1 or head into the front stretch that NASCAR put down and had at iRacing. That thing was a headache.
Cookie. By the way, me and Dale is actually just got. I just got a message from Fracture Dale. Me and you need to talk after this race and see what we need to figure out.
I like how he messaged you. He didn't.
I'm saying we're both the crew chief. We're both the crew chiefs. We need to talk and figure out a strategy.
We're on a live stream here. We talk about this later, okay?
Yeah.
Well, that might be the perfect time to to change direction. Perfect timing. All right, so you know what? We talked about who needs it the most, but we got to answer this question before we head out. Who you got? Y'all remember that? Dale, who you got? Who's winning Watkins Glen this weekend?
I'm sorry to say this, but I think little Habibi's gonna pull it out again. He's on a current hot streak. I think he's gonna get the third one and go from there.
Jody, who you got?
Who I got? I'm hard to say this, but I think one of the I ain't gonna say the drivers, but I think one of the ECE drivers has got this locked up.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, no. All right, yeah, and you
That
know what?
should be a
I
point
think,
reduction right there because he's talking about himself even though he didn't say his name.
and I think, um, I think Ghost actually is my
22 is gonna
pick.
win it.
I
22
think
is gonna win.
I think Ghost is my pick to win Watkins Glen. So we'll see how that works out. I think Ghost Train is hungry for a win after not being able to make Daytona, getting off to that slow start. He sees his teammate win, and he's got to remind everybody that he is our defending champion right now. So, all right. We want to thank everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Dale. Thank you, Jody. We'll catch you guys next Thursday night as we will prepare ourselves for the elimination race, the first race in season 3 elimination race that will be at Sonoma. But first, we've got the Glen. It will be broadcasted right here, either in car, hopefully in the broadcast booth, by our official voice of the series, even though he has not been here lately, and Zal Factor. We look forward to having him back in the booth for the remainder of the season, starting at Watkins Glen. You can catch the coverage of at 11:30 Eastern, right
And
here
remember,
on
I'll be
Twitch
broadcasting it too.
Monster27, and yep, you can catch the update show, the BRL update show, every Tuesday night. The team points will be updated, and as well as who's advancing, and we'll have all of that prepared. You can catch that live and come chat and hang out with me afterwards. You can tune into some iRacing or some Trek or whatever else we're doing that night, and we'll hang out and have some fun. All
Remember,
right.
Monday or Tuesday we would do Star Trek on one channel.
Maybe, yep, we may do something tricky or something like that. But in
STO.
the meantime, also, guys, really quickly, remember team points if you want to use them. This is the window. Well, actually, Friday night comes. That is it. You cannot use or ask or request team points. So the window, remember, from Tuesday to Friday night. Thank you, guys. This is Sam Cook signing out.